What was supposed to be a warm daytime interview turned into one of the most uncomfortable moments in live television history. In less than a minute, a single remark shifted the mood of the entire studio. Smiles froze, applause died mid-clap, and by the end of the segment, a duchess would be escorted out while millions watched in stunned silence. Nobody came for a fight, but one woman walked in already looking for one. The lights rose slowly. Soft music filled the studio as Kelly Clarkson stepped forward, her familiar Texas smile lighting up the room. The audience clapped eagerly, already leaning into what they expected to be a heartfelt conversation about charity, growth, and new beginnings. "Please welcome Meghan Markle." Applause swelled. Meghan walked out in a tailored designer dress that probably cost more than most people's monthly rent. Her smile was flawless, camera-ready, practiced, perfectly measured. She waved briefly, hugged Kelly with polite efficiency, then settled onto the couch with her legs crossed and hands folded neatly in her lap. Kelly beamed. "Thank you so much for being here. I know our audience has been excited to hear from you." Meghan nodded once. "Of course." Kelly jumped right in, warm and inviting. "Let's talk about your new children's literacy initiative. I heard you've been visiting schools lately?" Meghan shifted in her seat. "Well, Kelly, I appreciate the invitation," she said, glancing around the studio. "Though I must admit, I expected a larger setup. This is quite intimate." The room went quiet. Not silent, quiet. Kelly's smile didn't disappear, but something flickered behind her eyes. "We actually love our space," Kelly replied lightly. "It keeps things personal, helps us have real conversations." "Real," Meghan repeated, her tone carrying something sharp beneath the word. "Yes, I suppose when you're working with a smaller budget, you make do." A few nervous laughs trickled through the audience. Kelly chuckled politely. "Well, we try." She redirected smoothly. "So tell us about the literacy program. You've been reading to kids?" Meghan waved a hand dismissively. "I've visited a few classrooms, sure, but honestly, the real work happens at higher levels. Policy changes, fundraising galas, access to decision makers. Being in classrooms is more of a photo opportunity than anything substantial." You could hear someone cough 3 rows back. Kelly leaned forward slightly. "I actually disagree. I think showing up for kids, reading to them, letting them feel seen, that's the real work." Meghan smiled, not warmly. "That's a sweet sentiment," she said. "But you have to understand, some of us operate on a different level. We think bigger picture." Kelly's smile tightened. "I think our audience would love to hear about that bigger picture." Meghan settled back like she was preparing a keynote. "When you've lived the life I've lived, when you've been where I've been, you realize small-town charity doesn't move the needle. You need influence, power, access." Kelly nodded slowly. "But doesn't change start with the people who need help?" Meghan laughed, actually laughed. "Oh, Kelly, that's adorable." The audience shifted. "I've sat with world leaders," Meghan continued. "I've dined with presidents. I've worn tiaras worth more than this entire set. So when I talk about making a difference, I'm talking about real impact, not feel-good moments for daytime television." The murmurs grew louder. Kelly sat up straighter. "Meghan, this show celebrates teachers, nurses, parents, volunteers. That is real impact." Meghan shrugged. "If you say so." Kelly's voice stayed calm, but steel crept in. "I'm incredibly proud of this show, and our audience." Meghan tilted her head. "You sing songs, you play games, you give away gifts. That's entertainment." She gestured lightly. "What I'm building is legacy." Kelly blinked. "Legacy?" "Yes," Meghan said. "Some of us were meant for more than ordinary lives." Kelly inhaled. "There's nothing ordinary about caring for others." Meghan smiled faintly. "That's a lovely belief." Kelly held her gaze. "Let's talk about results. What have you actually accomplished with all this influence?" Meghan stiffened. "Excuse me?" Kelly didn't back down. "I'm asking what you've done, not planned, not envisioned, done." Meghan's expression hardened. "I've sacrificed everything, my privacy, my family, my entire life." Kelly replied quietly. "For the greater good or the greater spotlight?" The audience gasped. Meghan shot to her feet. "How dare you?" Kelly stood too. You walked in here, insulted my set, dismissed my audience, and talked down to everyone in this room. I'm not going to sit quietly while you do that." Meghan snapped back. "This is why I don't do shows like this anymore. Small-minded people asking small-minded questions." Kelly fired back instantly. "Then why are you here?" Meghan's face flushed. "My publicist thought it would help my image. Clearly that was a mistake." Kelly shook her head. "Regular people are the ones doing the work you claim to care about." Meghan hissed. "Don't put words in my mouth." Kelly met her eyes. "You're doing that yourself." Meghan grabbed her purse. "I don't have to take this." Kelly crossed her arms. "Respect is earned." Meghan exploded. "I am royalty," Kelly answered softly. "Real royalty comes from how you treat people." Meghan's hands trembled. "You're jealous. You're bitter." Kelly didn't blink. "I'm human." Meghan turned toward the cameras. "This interview is over." Kelly's voice dropped to deadly calm. "You're right." She turned slightly off camera. "Can we get security, please?" Meghan froze. "You're calling security on me?" Kelly nodded. "You've been rude, dismissive, and hostile. On this show, we treat people with respect." Two guards appeared. The audience sat frozen. "This is insane," Meghan whispered. Kelly answered clearly. "What people are seeing is someone who can't handle being challenged." Meghan pointed. "You'll regret this." Kelly replied simply, "I have integrity." That word shattered what little composure Meghan had left. She screamed insults as security guided her away. Hands shaking, voice breaking, the doors closed behind her. Kelly turned back to the audience, breath unsteady. "Well," she said softly, "that didn't go as planned." The studio erupted in applause, and Kelly Clarkson sat back down, knowing one thing with absolute clarity. Some crowns are inherited, others are earned. The applause didn't fade right away. It lingered in the air like static, awkward and unsure, before slowly dissolving into a tense quiet. Kelly sat back down first, not because she was backing off, but because she was reclaiming her seat. Meghan remained standing for a second longer. Her chest rose and fell. Her fingers tightened around her purse. Then she dropped back onto the couch with a sharp movement, crossing her legs hard, like she was bracing for impact. Kelly folded her hands in her lap. "Let's take a breath," she said calmly. "We don't have to do this in attack mode." Meghan laughed, not amused, disbelieving. "You started this." Kelly lifted an eyebrow. "I asked what you've accomplished." Meghan leaned forward. "With all due respect, Kelly, do you know who you're talking to?" Kelly met her gaze. "I'm talking to a guest on my show." Meghan scoffed. "I've changed global conversations. I've brought attention to causes you couldn't even pronounce. I've moved millions with a single speech." Kelly nodded slowly. "And yet you couldn't sit with kids in a classroom without calling it a photo op." The audience murmured. Meghan's jaw clenched. "You're twisting my words." Kelly shook her head. "No, I'm repeating them." Meghan pointed at Kelly. "You're doing what everyone does. You reduce complex work into sound bites because that's all this format allows." Kelly leaned forward. "This format allows honesty." Meghan's eyes flashed. "This format rewards emotional exploitation." Kelly didn't raise her voice. "This format rewards connection." Meghan laughed again. "Connection? You surprise people with cars and cry on cue." Kelly's expression hardened. "I celebrate people." Meghan waved dismissively. "You perform empathy." Kelly inhaled sharply. "Careful." Meghan leaned back. "Why? Are you uncomfortable now?" Kelly nodded once. "Yes." The audience went silent. Kelly continued. "Because you're speaking down to everyone in this room." Meghan shrugged. "I'm speaking truth." Kelly replied evenly. "No, you're flexing status." Meghan tilted her head. "And what's wrong with that?" Kelly blinked. "What's wrong with that is that you're confusing power with worth." Meghan smirked. "Spoken like someone who's never had real power." Kelly's eyes narrowed. "I've raised 4 kids. I've survived divorce in the public eye. I've rebuilt my career twice. Don't tell me I don't understand power." The crowd erupted briefly. Meghan waited for it to die down, then smiled thinly. "Those are personal struggles," she said. "I'm talking about influence." Kelly nodded. And I'm talking about character. Meghan leaned forward again. You're offended because I don't romanticize small gestures. Kelly replied instantly. I'm offended because you dismiss people who actually show up. Meghan rolled her eyes. Oh, please. Reading books to kids isn't systemic change. Kelly shot back. It's where change starts. Meghan shook her head. That's naive. Kelly stared at her. That's human. Meghan crossed her arms. You live in a world of feelings. I live in reality. Kelly leaned back slightly. And yet you're the one melting down on daytime TV. A few audience members gasped. Meghan's face flushed. Excuse me? Kelly stayed steady. You walked in here acting superior. You insulted the set. You dismissed teachers. You mocked everyday people. Meghan raised her voice. I am not superior. I'm experienced. Kelly shook her head. You just told millions of viewers that ordinary lives don't matter. Meghan slammed her palm lightly on the couch. I said they don't move policy, Kelly responded calmly. They move hearts. Meghan laughed bitterly. Hearts don't change governments. Kelly leaned forward. People do. Meghan stared. And people start as kids in classrooms. The studio was completely still now. Meghan stood again, this time faster. You're turning this into some moral lecture. Kelly rose with her. No, you did that when you started ranking human value. Meghan's voice rose. You invited me here under false pretenses. Kelly shook her head. You revealed yourself. Meghan pointed at the audience. They don't understand what it takes to operate at my level. Kelly answered immediately. They understand kindness. Meghan's lips curled. Kindness doesn't change the world. Kelly replied softly. It changes people. Meghan laughed loudly. And you think that's enough? Kelly met her eyes. I know it is. Meghan leaned forward, voice sharp. You're sitting in a comfortable chair telling yourself you're making a difference. Kelly crossed her arms. And you're standing there telling yourself you're above everyone. Meghan's breathing quickened. This is exactly why I stopped doing interviews. Kelly tilted her head. Then why did you agree to this one? Meghan hesitated, just for a second, then snapped. Because my team thought it would humanize me. Kelly nodded slowly. And did it? Meghan opened her mouth, closed it. Her eyes darted toward the cameras. Kelly watched her carefully. Looks like it's doing the opposite. Meghan's face hardened. She lifted her chin. I don't need this. Kelly replied quietly. No, but everyone else here deserves respect. Meghan grabbed her purse again. I'm not staying here to be attacked. Kelly gestured gently toward the floor. No one attacked you. Meghan's voice cracked. You humiliated me. Kelly shook her head. You humiliated yourself. The words landed heavy. Meghan froze. Her hands trembled. And for the first time since she walked onto that stage, the confidence completely drained from her face. She looked small, cornered, dangerous, and the entire studio felt it. The room stayed frozen. No music, no applause. Just Meghan standing there, purse in one hand, the other clenched at her side, and Kelly facing her with a calm that somehow felt louder than shouting. Meghan broke the silence first. So this is what you do, she said, her voice tight. You invite people on your show and publicly dismantle them. Kelly didn't move. No, she replied evenly. I invite people here to have real conversations. You turned it into something else. Meghan scoffed. You ambushed me. Kelly shook her head. I asked questions. Meghan laughed sharply. Loaded questions. Kelly took a step forward. They only feel loaded when someone doesn't want to answer them. The audience murmured. Meghan pointed at Kelly. You're enjoying this. Kelly blinked. I'm uncomfortable. Meghan tilted her head. Then why are you still pushing? Kelly answered without hesitation. Because you don't get to walk in here and treat everyone like they're beneath you. Meghan's face reddened. I never said that. Kelly lifted a hand. You implied it. When you mocked classrooms. When you called this show small. When you said ordinary lives don't matter. Meghan shook her head. You're twisting everything. Kelly's voice hardened. No, I'm listening. Meghan paced 2 small steps, then turned back toward Kelly. You think sitting here crying with strangers makes you some moral authority? Kelly's jaw tightened. I think showing up for people matters. Meghan rolled her eyes. You hand out gifts and call it impact, Kelly fired back. And you hand out speeches and call it legacy. The crowd reacted audibly. Meghan stopped pacing, her eyes locked onto Kelly. At least I'm trying to change systems. Kelly stepped closer. And at least I don't step on people while I do it. Meghan laughed bitterly. You're offended because I don't worship mediocrity. Kelly's voice rose for the first time. I'm offended because you're insulting teachers, parents, volunteers, people who actually carry this world on their backs. Meghan's composure cracked. I didn't come here to be lectured by a former pop singer. Kelly didn't flinch. And I didn't invite you here to belittle everyone in this room. Meghan raised her voice. You don't understand what it's like to operate at my level. Kelly replied immediately. You don't understand what it's like to respect people. The audience gasped. Meghan stared. Kelly continued. You talk about influence, but influence without humility is just ego. Meghan shook her head, laughing in disbelief. Wow, you really think you're doing something right now? Kelly nodded slowly. I do. Meghan gestured wildly. You sit here pretending you're some beacon of goodness while I'm the villain. Kelly answered quietly. You made that choice. Meghan stepped closer to Kelly. Say that again. Kelly didn't retreat. You made that choice. Meghan's breathing became audible. You think you're better than me. Kelly shook her head. No, I think you forgot how to be equal. The audience was completely silent now. Meghan swallowed, then snapped. I have been to palaces. I've met heads of state. I've stood on balconies you'll never see. Kelly crossed her arms. And yet you can't sit on this couch without looking down on everyone. Meghan raised her voice. Because I've outgrown this. Kelly matched her volume. Then why did you come? Meghan froze. Her mouth opened, closed. Kelly pressed. If you're so evolved, so elevated, why are you standing on a daytime talk show stage yelling at strangers? Meghan's eyes darted toward the cameras. Kelly followed her gaze. This isn't about me, Kelly said. This is about you walking in here expecting worship. Meghan shook her head violently. No, this is about you trying to humiliate me. Kelly answered calmly. You walked in with contempt. I just didn't pretend not to see it. Meghan grabbed her purse tighter. I don't need this. Kelly nodded. That part we agree on. Meghan turned halfway toward the exit, then stopped, spun back. You know what? You're jealous. Kelly blinked. Of what? Meghan sneered. My life, my status, my platform. Kelly tilted her head. I have everything I need. Meghan laughed. You have a couch and a camera. Kelly replied softly. And you have everything except peace. That line cut deep. Meghan's face went blank. Her lips trembled. Then anger flooded back in. You're just another small host protecting your tiny kingdom. Kelly stepped forward one final time. This isn't a kingdom, she said. It's a workplace. And in my workplace, we don't bully people. Meghan shouted. I am not bullying anyone. Kelly gestured toward the audience. You dismissed them. You mocked them. You elevated yourself above them. Meghan screamed back. They don't understand me, Kelly answered quietly, because you never tried to understand them. Meghan stood frozen, her eyes glossy, her jaw clenched, and everyone in that studio knew the next few seconds would decide everything. She took a step toward Kelly. Her voice dropped low and venomous. You have no idea who you're messing with. Kelly didn't blink. Neither do you. And that's when Meghan finally lost whatever control she had left. Meghan's voice dropped low. You have no idea who you're messing with. Kelly didn't blink. Neither do you. For a second, neither woman moved. The air felt thick, heavy, like the studio itself was holding its breath. Then Meghan laughed. Not a nervous laugh, not a polite one. A sharp, hollow sound that carried no warmth at all. This is unbelievable, she said, shaking her head. You sit there acting morally superior while I've sacrificed everything for the greater good. Kelly's reply was immediate. Or for attention. The audience gasped. Meghan froze. What did you just say to me? Kelly stood straighter. You heard me. Meghan stepped forward. I gave up my privacy, my family, my entire life. Kelly answered calmly. "And yet you walked in here insulting teachers, dismissing kids, and talking down to everyone like you're royalty." Meghan snapped. "Because I am royalty," her voice echoed through the studio. Kelly looked at her for a long moment, then spoke softly. "Real royalty doesn't scream it." That was the crack. Meghan's composure shattered. Her face flushed deep red. Her hands began to shake. "You bitter, jealous little talk show host," Meghan spat. "You're just angry because I've transcended this whole celebrity circus." Kelly raised one eyebrow. "By coming on daytime television?" The audience reacted instantly. Meghan pointed at Kelly. "You're nothing. A washed-up singer who got lucky with a couch and a camera." Kelly didn't move. "I think I'm human," she replied. "And I think that's something you might want to try sometime." Meghan grabbed her purse. "I'm done." She turned toward the cameras. "This interview is over." Kelly's voice dropped into that calm register that stops rooms cold. "You're right." Meghan turned back. "What?" Kelly glanced off stage. "Can we get security, please?" The studio went completely silent. Meghan's eyes widened. "You're calling security on me?" Kelly nodded. "You've been hostile, you've been rude, and you've insulted everyone here." Two guards appeared at the edge of the stage. Meghan's voice rose. "This is insane. You can't throw me out." Kelly met her eyes. "I absolutely can. It's my name on the building." The words landed hard. Meghan looked around wildly, searching for support. She found none. The audience sat frozen. Phones were already coming out. "This is an attack," Meghan shouted. "You're all witnessing this." Kelly answered clearly. "What we're witnessing is someone who came in with contempt and can't handle being challenged." Meghan pointed a trembling finger. "You'll regret this. I have connections. I have power." Kelly replied simply. "And I have integrity." That was it. Meghan lunged forward with words like knives. "You're pathetic. You sit here pretending to care about people's tiny little problems, and you think that makes you important?" Kelly didn't flinch. "I think it makes me responsible." One of the guards stepped closer. "Ma'am, we need you to come with us." "Don't touch me!" Meghan shrieked. "Do you know who I am?" "Yes, ma'am," the guard said patiently. "And we still need you to leave." They guided her toward the exit. Meghan tried to walk tall, tried to reclaim dignity, but everyone could see her shaking hands, her tight jaw, her collapsing facade. At the doors, she turned back one last time. "This isn't over," Kelly answered quietly. "It really is." The doors closed. Silence flooded the studio. Kelly exhaled and sat back down. "Well," she said softly, voice unsteady but strong, "that wasn't how I thought today would go." A nervous laugh rippled through the audience. Then applause. Then more applause. Within seconds, the entire studio was on its feet. Kelly pressed a hand to her chest, eyes filling. "Thank you," she said. "I just couldn't sit there and let someone talk to all of you like that." The crowd roared. Kelly wiped her eyes. "Okay," she breathed. "We still have a show to do." She stood. "And we have some incredible teachers waiting backstage who deserve to be celebrated." The audience erupted again. As the lights reset, Kelly took a steadying breath and smiled that familiar Texas smile. Later, she would hear about headlines, about clips going viral, about comment sections exploding. But in that moment, surrounded by people who showed up every day with kindness and grit, she knew she'd done the right thing. Because real power doesn't come from titles. It doesn't come from status. It doesn't come from who you've met or what you wear. It comes from how you treat people when you think you're above them. And on that day, in that studio, Kelly Clarkson reminded millions of viewers what real class looks like. Not with speeches, not with threats, but by drawing a line, standing her ground, and choosing humanity over ego. And that's the thing about moments like this. They don't expose fame. They don't expose titles. They expose character. Some people walk into rooms expecting admiration. Others walk in ready to give respect. One of them left that studio escorted. The other stayed behind and kept doing her job. Because real power isn't loud. Real class doesn't shout. And real royalty doesn't need to announce itself.